already established Merriment before, as formalized, I guess. So we still all went out to an audition. And I met Sandy there because he was playing a game called Expert, and he was an expert on politics. And he was a character called Goof Fupa. And he went out there, and it revealed in a very outlandish way, like, Goof Fupa. The whole time, with this voice. And it revealed that he was a Jew with a secret love of Christmas. And the second that he opened his mouth and started talking, every fear I had went away. And it was sort of a feeling unlike anything I've ever had. And after the callback, he was sitting by himself in the hallway because he didn't know it. And I went up to him, and I will never forget the look in his eyes when I went up and introduced myself to him. Because he was just sitting there and he was minding himself. He was just being just quiet, reserved, standing, because he could be a larger-than-life figure when he needed to be and take the stage and command everyone's attention and respect and laughter. But in that moment in the hallway, he was just thinking. He was just sitting there as a kid, shy, scared, just a freshman. And I went up and I introduced myself to him, and he just looked at me with such a gratitude in his face that anyone would come up and talk to him. And the pleasure was really all mine. Because at that point, I knew that I just didn't ever want to let this kid out of my sight. I wanted him to audition for Merriment, but I really just wanted the excuse to be around him all the time. And Sandy we had a running thing that he was always like my little brother. And keep in mind, he's older than me, technically, which when we realized that was a big deal. Because he did not necessarily present himself in that manner. But he would always come up to me so easily and remind me of that first day, and he said, "You're like an older brother to me." And it was just the most wonderful feeling in the world. Every time he did it. And he did it over and over again as if he forgot he told me. But that was Sandy.
We were in this Rite Aid doing this scene, and I'm very awkward, I hate being in front of the camera, so I was really nervous. And there were people walking by, and Nicole said action, and I did the scene, and I found myself looking over at Sandy afterwards for his approval, and he gave me a thumbs up and one of these, and
couple that was constantly being followed by other couples, and there was a mysterious killer with a penchant for killing the other couples. And this original couple would walk around. They found themselves at a restaurant at one point, and Sandy and Newman played this rhyming waiter couple. Or no, they weren't rhyming, but one of them would start a sentence, the other one would finish it. It was this adorable couple waiter thing, which was unmistakably Sandy as it was. And the mysterious killer decided that it was too adorable, and so he stabbed Newman in the back. And as Newman was falling slowly to the ground, he went, "I'm dying!" Happy the Justice. I wish that all of you had been able to see that moment. Magical.
My favorite thing that Sandy ever said to me, of the many favorite things that Sandy has ever said to me, was about a month ago, actually. We were rehearsing just next door, and we were playing this game where at any point you could point to someone and say, 5 reasons that whatever, and they had to give 5 reasons. And so since I kind of a morbid sense of humor, I pointed at Sandy and said, 5 reasons why I should not commit suicide tonight. And with most comedians, he would say, without missing a beat, he responded. But of course, that wasn't Sandy's style. In his genius way of missing like 3 or 4 beats and not even caring, he's just like, you're surrounded by people who sort of love you. That was the most brilliant thing I ever heard. Even now, it's become sort of a running joke amongst us. When someone screws up, we're just like, don't worry, you're surrounded by people who sort of love you. And it's like Sandy, when he was in that room, and when he was in other rooms, and when he was in elevators, escalators, hallways, stairwells, outdoors for that matter, was always surrounded not by people who sort of loved him, because you can't sort of love Sandy. He was surrounded always by people who truly, sincerely loved him. Everyone in this line and everyone in this room, because you're here, and that's enough. And it's a different place without him, but it's still the same because we're here, you're here, and we're all laughing, which is the best legacy we can leave. So, Mr. Sandy.
Always. And there was one time, it was like the first or second, well, I don't know, it could have been, it was just like at the beginning of our rehearsals, like right when we got on the